I didn't know that.
I said yesterday.
All right, happy May. Thanks for being here, guys. It's a full room. We've got a packed meeting, so we're gonna get started. And then if you guys are staying afterwards, we've got some fun food. We've got pizza coming. No class afterwards, no CE. We're just hanging out and having lunch afterwards. So we would love to keep you all here and feed you. All right, so we're gonna get started here. And first, okay. Oh. Okay, so this is something that we just started doing at Elevate, and I thought it would be fun to do it at Living too, because you guys are a lot of fun over here. So just to get everybody in the right mindset of the meeting, somebody tell me something good. And we do this at Keller Williams on the leadership calls, and they sing it. So if I get one or two people, yeah, that's it. Is it from a song? Yeah. So professionally, whatever you want. Somebody tell me something good, Anisha.
I just gave keys to my first buyer.
Congratulations. That is tell me something great. Janice?
Some personal.
Yeah.
My son, y'all favorite little 14-year-old is graduating 8th grade.
Oh, he's getting his plaque out, right? Okay.
They're having a dance and an after prom.
Of course.
Like they think they're grown.
Yeah. Any reason to get anything out of us that they can, they will. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, after he's done clapping out here, if you bring him through here, we'll all do it too. Erin, did you have something?
20 minutes ago, I just signed the paperwork to close on my first shopping center.
Awesome. Congratulations. Thank you. Anybody else?
I got one.
Yes.
My daughter turned 1.5 years today.
Oh. You have like a little half birthday for her tonight?
No.
All right. We're gonna go to the cake and we're gonna go to the store and get a little half cake. Yes? Okay. No. It's
I got
fine.
enough stuff.
Okay, that's fair. Somebody else raise their hand. Yes.
Tomorrow I turn 30 years old.
Okay, well, I wasn't gonna put you on the spot, but I knew you were gonna put yourself on the spot. So do you wanna tell everybody who you are and why you're here?
Hi everyone, my name is India VC. I am actually, just touring and seeing. I just finished my class. Well, I finished in 2019, so I refreshed myself with the classes. I handled about a week ago, so I finished. And I'm just trying to check out, see the locations, different, locations. But I'm like, you guys.
Okay. All right. Something else good is maybe this slide deck's gonna work. Anybody else? Tell me something good. Yes.
One more. My son, my oldest son, they went under contract for their first house last night.
I feel like you just told me that they were looking. Did it happen quick?
We literally looked probably 2 days.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he's been trained by you to not show you nasty houses. I love that. Cool. Anybody else? Yes.
On May 2nd, I became a grandmother.
Boy or girl?
Sure.
Why isn't she here? Yes, we need to see her. All right, anybody else? Yeah.
My son's baseball team made it to the championship last night.
Good, awesome. Good luck to them. Right, because if they made it, they still have to win. Okay, yep, great. All right, so we've got some other good stuff. Who was at Red Day? I'll put my hand down. I was not there. I was out of town. My daughter did not win her cheer competition. But that's okay. She was cute. But for those of you that were at Red Day, thank you so much. I was going to read the email and I forgot, but I'm gonna try to find it real quickly. Did you guys meet Jen while you were there too? The head person at Humble that helped us? So she sent Gabrielle and I a nice email and I was gonna read it to you guys. Okay, she says, Dear Keller Williams team, I've tried to revise this message to make it shorter, but can't seem to do so and still communicate how much we appreciate you. Please bear with me, here goes. On behalf of all of us at Humble Design Cleveland, thank you for choosing us for your Red Day project and for pouring your time, energy, and heart into our mission. Your team absolutely lit up our warehouse with your enthusiasm and generosity from the very first cup of coffee. Thank you for sharing that delicious spread of coffee, donuts, and lunch with our crew, to the final touches on the creative projects you tackled. The wood risers you built have already transformed our storage space, making it easier and safer for our team to access and organize the furniture that turns empty houses into homes. And your thoughtful touches, spray painted lamps brought back to life, lighted garlands, and handcrafted bedroom decor will put smiles on kids' faces and add serious personality to their rooms. Oh, that's we're getting a phone call. What you created on Red Day will travel far beyond our warehouse. Your work will ripple through the lives of the families we serve, reminding them that they are seen, valued, and supported by their community. They also couldn't help but notice how much fun your team had while giving back. The laughter, teamwork, and shared sense of purpose were incredible. As our team left for the day, we agreed that we all felt re-energized. It was a joy having you with us, and we hope that the day was as meaningful for you as it was from us, from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you. So super sweet. Thank you guys all. You're amazing. We had a few other teams that went to other places as well. So wherever you participated in Red Day, thank you so much for doing so. If you have any feedback on the location, please give it to somebody on leadership so that we can plan for next year. All right, so exciting news. Has anybody heard of K-Score? It's okay if you haven't. It's not like CE. Okay, so Keller Williams has a partnership with Kaplan, which is an online real estate school. It's an online school that you can get many licenses from. And as of May 1st, we now have full scholarships for real estate school. So for those of you that went through Hondros or maybe the CE shop, you probably remember paying somewhere close to $1,500. Sorry, India, because she just finished paying that.
And Tyler's just finishing this week.
Taylor's just finishing this week. Yep, I had a few people that signed up 3 weeks ago. And we are still partnering with Hondros. I do believe they are still a wonderful, wonderful experience, and we're educating on all the options as people are looking to get their real estate license. However, that being said, with Kaplan, it is a full scholarship. So it is 100% at no cost to the person to get their real estate courses. If you have somebody that is interested in this, we do have a few parameters as a leadership team to make sure that we're giving and gifting this scholarship to people who are excited about real estate and who understand the costs of doing real estate. The first thing that we would ask is that you invite them into a career night, or you get them connected to us and we will get them into a career night, or you scan this QR code that will take you to a Google form, and then you can send that to people. Basically what that does is it allows them to put their information in, and somebody from our growth team will be reaching out to them to get them the information. So I hear two things: full scholarships, heck yeah. And if you guys are thinking about growing your downline, this is the way to do it. If you've got people that you've talked to before, or if you've got people that the $1,000 or the $1,200 is just a little bit too much, we still know that we need them to have another $1,200 for their board of realtors and MLS fees, yes. And this is a way to take that financial burden off of them. Does anybody have any questions on this? Okay, so best thing we can do is, if you've got somebody, get them connected to myself or I would say Lynn at this point, and we'll get them into classes. We'll invite them into a career night. Just a reminder, we do it every single month in our office, and we're super excited about it because it's finally here in Ohio. So,
Can I say one thing real quick?
yes.
It is a scholarship. It is not free, okay? Just make sure you guys
Yes.
realize the difference, all right? We're gifting this to somebody that we think can become one of us. We're not just giving out free classes to everybody that comes through here. So that's why we want to get them into a career night and get them kind of acclimated to the KWA before we decide to give them a full scholarship.
And Keller Williams and Keller Williams Living is still paying for it. So it is a full scholarship. It's not totally free. We are paying for it. And Keller Williams is obviously paying for it too. Awesome, exciting. All right, make sure when you're making those calls, you're doing it in a TCPA friendly way, please, thank you. All right, let's paint the town red. We're gonna do this for 30 seconds. I would say that, and it goes forever long. Paint the town red is an opportunity to share new listings that you have or very specific buyers going on the market. So paint the town red. Who's got anything new coming up that they want to share? Mike, then Janine.
Let me go first. Questions.
I have a listing in Youngstown or Newton Falls. It is unique property. It is, I think, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It's on 5 acres. There's 2 parcels. The house sits on 3, and then there's a side parcel that he owns that's additional 2. But the property is absolutely gorgeous. It's at 340, and then I have a bungalow in Euclid that I am reducing the price today to $175. It is 30 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms. and attached garage, 2-car attached garage.
Love it. Mike?
I have 2 recently reduced houses I would love to sell. I just dropped a renovated house in Chicken Heights on Helen to $299. I think it's really good value, and I dropped one on Reedham, renovated to $315. One like literally down the road, so for $340. Like a month ago, we're pretty much the same house, so those are both great opportunities. If you have buyers, would love to get them through. And then I have several renovations in progress that we will sell pre-market. So if you have anybody looking, I got a bunch of inventory. Cleveland Heights, Shaker Heights, and I have a ranch in Highland Heights. So reach out, some of them, literally one we're about to close, the people bought it like right after we closed on it, and they picked the tile, they picked the color of the floors, all that kind of stuff, so we can do that. Some of them are like almost done too, like I have one in Yorkshire and Cleveland Heights, so that'll be done probably in like as soon as the rain stops and we can paint the outside of it and do the driveway. So yeah, if you have anybody looking, please reach out. They range in price from like $325 up to $650. And the one I haven't actually could be Beechwood Schools. So if you have anybody looking from Beechwood Schools, $650. Vintage.
Love it. Carolyn, did you go?
Yeah,
Okay, then please.
South Euclid, this house was originally supposed to be bought for this investor family to move in, and they didn't move in it, so we had to get it market ready, and it turned out so cute. 215,000, 4 bedrooms, 1.5 bath, attached 4-car garage. It is a raised colonial, so on a small hill, just so you guys know. But you have access from the garage right into the house, to the finished rec room or upstairs, to the nice part, a nice aggressive part of the house, so that'll be in the computer project.
Please.
I have a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath in University Heights on Washington Boulevard. It's a cute brick house. She lived in that house for 45 years, but has maintained it. She put nature's stone in the basement. She did the flooring in the garage, filtration for the whole house, water filtration for the whole house, $245.
Cool. I'm gonna Kim, Aaron, Rick, and then I'm gonna cut it off.
I just
If you
have,
stay for lunch, you can share.
I just have a couple of investment properties, one on Krems in Maple, and one on Hayden in West Akron. Both have really good bones. They're friends of mine that there was their grandparents' home and nobody wants to update them. They just wanna, but they're both like longtime owners, they're like original owners, so they kept them up. They're just very dated.
Okay. Aaron?
I have 25 units coming on Edgewater and Lakewood, so 6 of those units actually have lake views. It's overall turnkey, but 3 of the units are actually 3-bed, 2-bath units and need full renovation. So there is a huge value add component there.
Are you selling them separately or all together?
It's one building, it's 125 units on Edgewater. Yeah, so that's an apartment building, but then I do have 2 portfolios coming. 2 very different portfolios. One is 14 properties, 25 total units. Most of them are in the nice areas on the west side. There are a couple scattered on the east, and that's going to be around 2 million. The other one is 5 properties, mostly vacant. I'm told they're rent ready, but take that with a grain of salt. And they're looking for 450 for those.
And it's going where in here?
25 unit is 3.478. Don't ask me.
That's it.
Yeah. East side.
Oh, those are east side.
Yeah.
So Aaron and I also talked about, like, we did an investor tour here with Mike Roberts and Mike Magno, and it was awesome. So we talked about maybe doing a commercial on some of those buildings as well. So stay tuned. We're gonna get something together in June, and we can take like 12 to 15 people through and kind of talk through commercial conversations.
Yep.
Cool. Rick?
I have a couple price reductions that just happened, so, Beechwood, Belvoir, on the golf course on Canterbury just dropped from $775 to $750. It's really pretty view of Canterbury Golf Course. Shaker Heights on Duffield, we just reduced to $385. That one, has a beautiful kitchen, in-ground pool in the back. It's also a great street near Mercer School. And then I've got a handful of properties in Cleveland, let's call them investor specials, or need some TLC or whatever you want to call it. If you have somebody that likes doing work, then let me know. I've got a handful of those.
Love it.
Oh, did you say? Sorry, we're done.
Okay, go so fast.
Okay, really fast. I have a unique listing coming up. It's North Taylor, Cleveland Heights. There's a koi pond in the living room, but it can be filled. 3 beds. Yeah.
It's not like enclosed and grass, like,
It's just in the living room. He's from California, very eccentric. He put it in. 3 beds, three, but then like that functional obsolescence bedroom type of thing, so bonus room, 1.5 baths. It's very like well maintained, it's nice, and there's also a bar off the kitchen, it's a lot. But there's that, and then if on the lease side, if anybody has a duplex in Cleveland Heights, if they want to completely rent out, I have clients that are looking to completely rent out the duplex.
love it. Okay, go Tara, fast.
Solon, North Solon, Lorraine, Seven Hills, Antonio's got one coming up in Wadsworth. Felicia's duplex in Shaker Heights is coming back on at a reduced price. I got Parma, I got Maple Heights, I got Bainbridge. 3 renovated units in the Stonebridge condos are coming up, and Southview put Colma back.
Go find Tara.
That's all.
That's not fair.
That's all.
What?
That's all you have.
That's it.
All right, happy birthday to everybody in May. We got one sitting in the front row, Lenny. Happy birthday. Oh, Antonio. Chrissy.
No.
Well,
Sing to Lynn.
go here.
No.
Sing to Lynn.
Yes, let's sing.
Lynn,
Okay,
in the
ready?
front of the room.
Happy birthday to you.
Antonio.
Happy birthday to you. The love of God. I say, Lynn, how old are you? Just kidding. All right. Okay, can we, Chris, here, please? And do you want me to click on the other slide for you?
Yeah, flip over to the next one. We have, let's send some of these this way, some of these this way. We have an event at Cross Country Headquarters, 10 to noon, June 3rd. That's a Tuesday. It is a non-QM special. So there's a guy who runs our entire non-QM mortgage department. That's portfolio loans for anyone interested. DSCRs, bank statement loans, all of that. A lot of people don't realize we are the biggest lender in the country for these type of loan programs. So the guy that runs that whole department is putting on an event for our realtor partners. We are valet parking for this event. So
Today's event.
not today's event. This is a big enough one that they're shelling out for valet parking. So if you want to go to this, Gabrielle is helping me out by sending everyone an email. There's going to be a link if you want to register for this event. Like I said, valet parking, there's going to be breakfast. You can come hang out. Should be fun. It's open to everybody. So it's going to be kind of like a co-broke mingling. A lot of cross-country people there. Probably every cross-country loan officer you've ever run into is going to be there. So check it out if you're interested. And then the piece of paper that I sent around is a breakdown of the loan programs that are going to be covered at that event. So if you want to learn how to work with, frankly, buyers that are going to be a bit wealthier, this is for people that are investing. So think the DSCR side, bank statement loans. So people that are self-employed, they're savvy, they're writing everything off on their taxes. Does anybody in here have a 1099 or? 1099 loans then if you're a realtor. Check it out. I hope you can make it. If you have any questions or anything, let me know.
So that email is coming from Gabrielle?
Yeah.
At some point? Awesome. Thank
for
you.
your help.
Thanks for
Thanks.
All right, we want to invite one other special person up here real quick to have a few minutes of your time. So I'm gonna invite 2 people up here. Felice is going to introduce Vince, who we grabbed lunch with a few weeks ago. He's doing something pretty cool in the industry. And I was blown away, and I definitely thought the lunch was something way different than it was. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm oblivious to a lot of these things. But I thought as real estate agents, the thing that Vince is doing, I believe that our agents maybe sometimes leave money on the table because we don't know what we don't know, right? And so we wanted to give him a few minutes of our time to talk through what he does and then kind of talk through what a relationship could look like here. So I'll let you introduce him because he's your BFF.
Okay, so Vince Luigi is an accomplished MA consultant and strategist specializing in advising CEOs and business owners to buy and sell and merge transactions. He has over 30 years of experience in commercial banking, finance, industry, wealth expertise, consulting, leveraging everything. A lot of people don't know that when you sell a business, you can also sell the property, which is the real estate, but you can also sell the business part. So a lot of times, and that's where I was needing his help. So we have a deal going on because I had a client who was selling a automotive repair shop, and that his dad owned and he passed away. So I needed help. So I met with Vince and he's helping me not only sell the real estate, but also the business side of it. So, and I don't have to do anything. So thank you, Vince.
Thank you, please, appreciate it.
Just tell me when to flip,
Okay.
or you can flip it if you want.
No, you know what, I don't mind, I'm just gonna set this down here, do you mind?
No.
So thank you, I'm Vince Leedsey, Transworld Business Advisors. I oversee the Cleveland Metro, Akron and Canton market. And we are the nation's largest business brokerage firm, operating in 49 states. You could probably go to the next one. 49 states and 18 countries globally. We specialize in small Main Street business transactions all the way to the lower middle market. A Main Street business transaction could be a pizza shop, a salsa. I have a $25,000 salsa company that we're selling, all the way up to an $8 million restoration business that we have. 40% of our listings have real estate. We have about a pipeline of $49 million worth of businesses that are on the market right now. But you know, our transaction volume is pretty significant. We've closed over 15,000 transactions globally over the last 10 years. Go to the next one.
Yeah.
So, you know, what makes us a little bit different is we do operate globally. So from a footprint standpoint, listings that go online with Transworld get exposed to our entire footprint. They will go to all the states that we're in and all the countries that we are part of. You may ask yourself, well, why would somebody in, I don't know, California want to buy a business in Ohio? And quite honestly, that just happened to us a few months ago. We had a restaurant listing. It did not have real estate. The ad got picked up by one of the buyers in California. They happened to come from Ohio originally. They were looking to buy a business. We put them in front of the seller, put a deal together, and they successfully closed. That was a $750,000 business transaction. And so we really look at the specialization that we bring to the table to sell a business confidentially. Selling a business, very different than selling real estate. Very different than selling real estate from a confidentiality standpoint. I'll talk about more about that in a minute. We do focus on the buyer's buy-side criteria. We may have a buyer looking at 15 different businesses. We help them kind of shore up what they're looking for and help the buyer get qualified from a financing standpoint. And we do kind of work both sides of the transaction. This gives you an idea of our global footprint. We're headquartered out of West Palm Beach, Florida. I'm fresh off of our annual conference. We were just recognized as the top producer in the state of Ohio for Transworld at the conference this last week. And so we're very pleased with our production and performance, but we do have a global footprint. Now, confidentiality is important. Many people start out in this process by thinking, I just want to sell my business. I'm going to list it like I would sell a real estate property, put pictures online, maybe try to do it on their own. That's probably one of the worst things that a business owner could do. And I'll give you an example why. One of my early listings was listed by another firm called Berkshire Hathaway. And this was a business that was an event center. They had a 3-acre parcel of land, about 5,000 square foot, 2 5,000 square foot buildings, and they would do weddings, events, you know, parties, things like that. I mean, he contacted me because he had been listed with Berkshire Hathaway, the Berkshire Hathaway agent, who had listed their business. Well, what did the Berkshire Hathaway do? What any good real estate agent would do. They took pictures of the business. They put the sign up in front of the business, said available, called the Berkshire Hathaway phone number, and you know, you could, you know, own this business. The day after he put that sign up, 80% of all of his future bookings canceled because they were worried about an event center that would be sold and wouldn't be there. So 80% canceled in one day. And so after he wrapped up his agreement with Berkshire Hathaway, he joined us and we helped him. But you cannot, in our space, I'm not telling you how to do your business, but in our space, you cannot advertise a business, put pictures. All of our advertisements are confidential. We don't put the name, the address, no pictures, nothing from the website when we promote online. I'll give you a minute in our buyer process to tell you when we do give that information to buyers. But when somebody advertises a business, competitors could go after their employees, go after their customers, and go after some of those relationships. So the confidentiality is a mutual goal between the seller, the buyer, and Transworld, and we are experts in confidential private listing marketing. This is the sale process from start to finish. So when I'm working with the seller and I'm onboarding a seller, I explain to them kind of this is the seller journey, seller roadmap. It starts with getting the listing agreement with the seller. We'll collect some information to do the valuation. That's 3 years tax returns, balance sheet, and income statement. We will take that data and spread the financials, do some adjustments to the financials for personal expenses that go into a business. Anybody work with a person who owns a business and you look at their financials and you see like, why is this jet ski being paid out of your business? You're a roofing company. What do you sell jet skis? You know, well, it's not uncommon for business owners to run personal expenses through the business. We need to normalize that to get to the appropriate valuation. So we collect that information and we'll do a valuation. There are 4 levels of valuation. Think about it, difference between a CMA and a certified appraisal. Same thing for business. We will do a broker's opinion of value all the way to a certified valuation. Once we do the valuation and we develop the marketing plan, we put that in front of the client, both of those items. The client approves. And then the minute the client approves, we hit marketing. We go out on Transworld, where we have a web-based presence of 650,000 buyers that have registered to look at listings with Transworld. We go out on BizBuySell, businessbroker.net, Axial, DealStream, Global IBX. BizBuySell is the partner company to CoStar, LoopNet, Homes. I think Homes.com is one of their new brands now. And so we go out online, but our online ads have nothing that you could identify the business. You could see stock image and photographs, creative, confidential writing that we'll put together, but you will not be able to identify what the business is when you see it online. Once it hits marketing and buyers inquire, the first question is, well, where is it? Is it, where is it in Ohio? Is it in Cleveland? Is it in Westlake? Is it in Medina? Where is it? Happy to give you that information once you sign an NDA. Our non-disclosure agreement governs how the buyer can use that information. First of all, it's more than just not being able to disclose it, but information that they do obtain, they can only use to buy the business. They can't sign our NDA, get information about the business, and then go after their customers, go after their employees, go after their vendors. So it governs how to keep the information confidential, but it also governs how the person who signs it is able to use that information. It's tight, it has teeth. People violate it, we'll see in court, right? And it just never happens. But once that NDA is signed, then we will start to give them information about the business. We'll tell them where it's located. We will give them, the address. We'll give them some of the financial information that we use to do the valuation. And then typically the next question is, well, that's great, but I'd like to see more. What more means is I need to financially qualify you in order for me to give you more. So we will have them fill out a buyer profile that explains their financial situation. Do they have financing? Do they need financing? Do they need help with the bank? It tells us a little bit about their assets, liabilities, debt, credit score. It's not a full lending application. Where's my lender in the room? It's not a full lending application, but it's a financial qualification. When we get the financial qualification together, then we use that to introduce the buyer to the seller. When we do a site visit, it's funny, I was working on a deal with the real estate agent and I said, oh, we need to have a buyer tour. And they said, great. And I said, well, let me make the arrangements for the seller to be there. And she said, what do you mean? The seller and the buyer are there in the same room? Absolutely. They have to be there at the same time when that visit happens because there's so much information about the business that only the seller can accurately convey to the buyer. So this meeting, they've already signed the non-disclosure agreement. We've vetted the buyer. We've done the qualification. We put that meeting together. And this is really where we get the seller to help sell the business to the buyer. Once that first meeting happens, there's typically questions that are arrived. They'll ask to come back for a second meeting, go over some of the additional information that they learned. we will entertain offers. People will submit an offer using our templated form, which we much prefer. Sometimes they'll submit an offer using a non-binding letter of intent. Whatever the offer is, we'll work with either one, but we'll start that negotiation process between the seller and the buyer. The seller can accept, reject, or counteroffer, just like you would in a real estate transaction. Once we agree on a deal, we go into due diligence. Think of it as your home inspection, only it's due diligence on the business. For us, this takes about 2 weeks to 10 days. What are they reviewing in due diligence? All this information that we collected to do the valuation. So it's easy for us to just flip a switch, give them that information, and they can complete their own due diligence. Once due diligence ends, we meet at the closing table. Seller proceeds are wired, transferred. We use a closing attorney to close our transaction, similar to a title attorney in real estate transaction. But the closing attorney will prepare the bill of sale, the assignment and assumption, the non-compete. They will also run a UCC1 lien search to make sure that it's clear to close. But there are, in a business transaction, a business asset transaction, some very important critical documents that a lot of the real estate, compliance people and brokers really have a hard time with a real estate agent doing some of these forms because they're not standard forms for a typical real estate transaction. The closing agent will prepare all of those documents, facilitate the closing, will get the monies transferred over, but they will work on behalf. The closing attorney represents the transaction, doesn't represent the seller, doesn't represent the buyer, doesn't represent Transworld. They represent the transaction on the piece of paper. After closing, the sellers will provide 30 days of transition assistance to the buyer. This one. The buyer journey, remember I said a buyer expresses interest? Well, that's where we started at the top. Here's what we do with buyers. We have the buyer complete the non-disclosure agreement, do the broker call. Our SIM is the offering circular. It's typically a 20-page offering deck that gives a lot of details, about 3 years financial statements, a lot of detailed information to the client. They'll have questions about it, submit to us. We start scheduling the meeting. So this is like the buy side of the other chart that I just showed you. This is what the buyer will experience. Next one. So we also have, I mentioned those 650,000 buyers that register on our website. We put them into a buyer match program. So a buyer can say, look, I'm looking for a pizza shop that makes at least $500,000 in net income in Westlake. That goes into the buyer database. When one of those listings comes up, it matches, and then we're able to help find a buyer. So the buyer is able to profile themselves, get the business that they're looking for. Maybe they want something that has real estate. Maybe they want something that doesn't have real estate. It just depends on what they're looking for. And then we use our buyer match program to help get that going. And next one, let's see. This is an important slide. So at Transworld, we're the intermediary. So we work in between the seller and the seller's team. We work in between the buyer and the buyer's team. 99% of the time, we're dual agents. Okay, because we find the seller list the business. We also find the buyer. We kind of represent both. As the intermediary, we'll work with the seller and their team, their investors, their CPA, lawyers, counsel, their bank, their legal advisors. We'll work with the buyer's team. Maybe the buyer has a co-broker. And, I invite any of you to co-broke on our transactions. Happy to co-broke with you. I'm also happy to just work your referrals, whatever you'd like to work with. But we can decide how much or how little you would like to be involved in that transaction as it relates to working with Transworld. We will also work directly with the landlord and get the lease assigned. We will work with the landlord's property manager, the landlord's lawyer. 3 things kill a deal: lawyers, accountants, and property managers. I'm telling, and time is the 4th. Those 3 things will kill a deal every time. It's so important that this process flow gets controlled. So somebody that looks to sell their home, does anybody recommend somebody doing a FSBO, for sale by owner home? Business, it's like a million times worse because there's a lot of other implications that go on that you would want, just like you need a professional real estate representative, a professional business broker to help somebody get through their business transaction. A lot is involved in a business transaction. Go to the next one. Oh, this is how to reach me. So what I would say to you is we are actively working with real estate firms and other referral sources throughout the Ohio area. We will share our commission with you, and we will either co-broke with you or pay you a referral fee, depending upon how you would like to be involved in the transaction. Our splits are determined, if it's a co-broking split, it's really determined by what you want to do. How much do you want to be involved in getting the buyer qualified, getting, if it's a seller that you've got to introduce to us, we will have that business pre-qualified for an SBA acquisition loan. So that when we go to market, the buyer will find something that's already qualified for an SBA acquisition loan. So it really helps match the right buyer with the right seller. Our referral fees are paid on whichever side you refer. If you refer a seller to us, we'll pay you a referral fee on the sell side of the commission. If you refer a buyer to us, we'll pay you a referral fee on the buy side of the commission. If you refer both, we'll pay you a referral fee on both sides of the commission. If you want to co-broker with us, that means, that we would either co-broker on the listing side or on the buyer side. But in that case, we would share our full commission. The typical commissions charged in this business are 12% up to the first million, 10% for the second million, 8% for the third million. We just did a $3.5 million restoration business. The blended commission rate was 9.87. Do the math. It was a very large commission check.
Is anybody else getting 12% commission?
If you have a business that has real estate that you'd like to refer and work with us on, I'm not in it to take away real estate commissions from anybody. I'm happy to the extent that your broker allows you to write up a commercial transaction, run it through KW and keep your KW commission. I'm still going to share the business asset commission with you, but I'm not here to take away commissions from you. I'm here to put commissions in your pocket. So just know that we've got, extreme flexibility on how you'd like us to work with you and with your sellers and your buyers. We're here to help. We are very active in Ohio, throughout the entire state. I'm actually under contract in 6 different deals right now. One of them happens to be a referral in North Carolina. We've got a couple in Pennsylvania. So we're agnostic in terms of from a referral standpoint. We'll help anybody anywhere. But if they're local, we'll certainly focus on our efforts there. I hope I didn't go too long, Danielle, but is there any questions or?
So here's what I heard when we met for lunch too. Obviously our intention is to bring more value into KW Living, and Erin did that when she joined us as the commercial agent, right? And I know, Erin, you're working with a few different people in this office to either co-broke or do referrals. And so when we met with Vince, I think a lot of times our brains go to, I don't even do commercial, and I have somebody in my office who does, and I can send you over to Erin and get a referral. But now there's this other opportunity, which before we sell just the property, let's have a conversation and see if there's any value in selling the property and selling the business as well. So was this helpful? Was it, all right, don't say no, because he's still up here. Does anybody have any questions? And we'll make sure that we get his contact information out, and we've got cards and stuff like that. But I just think it gets us thinking a little bit differently about the business side of things. It doesn't always have to be the building. It can be the name and the clientele and all the things in that business as well.
It's additive for you.
Yeah.
One quick KW commercial. The only reason I know about your company is because of a woman named Michaeline Paul.
Oh.
Okay. I met Michaeline Paul when I was relocating from Pennsylvania to Ohio, and I didn't know anybody here, and I needed a real estate agent. So what did I do? I called my bank because I was pre-qualified. I called my banker and I said, I need a local real estate agent. I got myself qualified first. The banker introduced me to Michaeline. So work your banker referral networks. They will refer people to you. If you're not doing that already, I think it's a good source of business for you.
It's funny. I thought your name sounded familiar. Michaeline gave it to me, and you talked to my friend that owns a Moroccan restaurant.
Yes.
Mohammed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's funny. Yeah. Randomly, I was eating lunch at my friend's restaurant. And he's thinking about selling it. So I don't know when that's going to happen or.
Mo's
Kebab.
Kebab.
Yeah.
Mo's Kebab.
Mo's Kebab. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's listed right now.
Oh, is it listed?
Oh yeah, it is.
Man, who wants to buy a Moroccan restaurant?
I didn't even know he was getting a referral. Thank you.
Well, I
Pleasure
know.
being here. We
Thank you so
appreciate you.
much.
Good to see you. Thanks, Ed.
Yeah.
All right.
So glad you bought my pick.
Delicious restaurant. Somebody should buy it.
Okay, Gabrielle.
What's up?
Are you gonna pull up the website?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, we updated our website, exciting. I guess if you wanna, we'll scan it after. But we just created basically a portal for you guys to be a part of. So this screen, all the other screens, we just kind of refreshed and updated. But the most exciting part is probably living agents only. So if you wanna go to that first, it's gonna ask you to sign in when you guys do it, and it'll send, I think me or Lynn probably an email, so we just have to approve it.
Is this
'Cause
the
there's
same
some-
website or a different website?
Same.
This was the outward facing.
Okay, so everybody has this website, maybe somewhere? Okay.
Yeah. So we'll just have to approve you when you get in here, just because there's some locked documents. But basically, there's just a bunch of resources in here. You can kind of see them. If you click into boxes, it links to a bunch of different stuff. It's also super easy to add things. So if you guys think of things that you want to add to it, we can put more on there. Stuff for new agents, commissions, what else? Preferred vendors, their contact info, market center videos, that links to all of our YouTube trainings and classes. I think that's it basically. I mean, it's all pretty self-explanatory.
It's nice and pretty.
It's just a little more updated and refreshed now, so.
I think it was down for a few months, so we're excited that it's
Yeah.
back and it's pretty. So thank you both for all the work that you both put into it. We appreciate you. So we'll make sure that we send this out as well. I guess we can keep the slide up for a second if people want to scan it real quick. And then once you click into it, you'll have to log in and then we'll get the approval and you can go back into it.
And she did make it so that it's a lot cleaner on mobile phones too, because before, if you ever logged in on your mobile, you had to scroll all the way to the right to be able to see anything. Now it's all in a nice clean line. She did it on both sides. She did an amazing job. Thank you so much.
Are we good? Oh, Carolyn?
Wait, how are we supposed to do
Yeah,
that?
Zoom.
No, I was trying to stand.
I know, I'm gonna wait for you. Are you good?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. So far with that Samsung back there.
Or just hit, yeah.
You can also just go to joinknwliving.com and you can try to log in and it'll do it.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Sorry.
That's good. Okay, we've got a few agent spotlights we want to shout out. He's not here, but I know
That's okay.
Lynn.
I just want to shout out Sean, for the team player one. I needed a stand for the printer over there and I was struggling to find something for 84 pounds that wasn't going to sag and jam. And he came through, found one of his clients and something with Rick, I don't know, but he found us a solution to my problem and found me a very nice table and it looks beautiful and I appreciate it.
I love Sean.
Yay.
Awesome. We have another one that we didn't put up here because she makes the slides. But I've had multiple people reach out to me and say that they wanted to nominate Gabrielle. She's like, oh my God, I'm getting hot. But you are a huge part of our leadership team and Rick reached out and Lynn reached out and Ricky reached out and a few agents reached out and you are like the mold that kind of brought us together and we appreciate everything that you do for us, but also our agents and being a smiling face at the front. So please don't ever leave us. Thank you. Okay, so congratulations to you too. And we have to make sure that we get this over to Sean. All right. All right, we've got a few new agents. Denise Martin, a beautiful photo of her. But Laszlo, back there, passed his exam. Eric Silva, Denise Martin. Deshaun Broadwater came back. Andre joined Tara's team. And then Christine Carn just came over from another brokerage and joined the trip team. So welcome everybody to Leaders Living. All right, we've got some cappers too. So Mo, Carly, and Adam, congratulations on earning a. Oh, we got some more, obviously. Levi, Carla, and Madison Jones. Congratulations. All right, so has anybody been to Mind the Gap with Amanda Pullman? Yes. Okay, so these are done at Infinity Title, and I told her I would bring this up today. June 6th, she is doing a 4-agent panel, and those agents are going to start being released over the next few weeks. It is done at Infinity Title. You do have to sign up because it does sell out every single month. And the first panelist that she has released is our very own Carly Salami. So Carly will be on the panel at Infinity Title. If you want to join, please scan this, get registered. It's always amazing. They're an hour long. She does not run over like these team meetings. They're awesome. If you've ever been to one before, there's a ton of value. Jose has done them before. And she's got 4 agents, obviously our very own Carly. We'd love to fill that room with KW Living agents. And then there's 3 other agents from other companies that will start being released over the next few weeks too. Well, oh wait, I'm sorry. Are we good? Okay, I saw a few phones up. All right, April, top producers.
I gotta get a pizza, but.
Do you want me to do?
No, I got it.
Okay.
Lauren Baker, Sandy Braun, Sean Castillo, Melinda Chamberlain, Felice Cologne, Bob Cugini, Karen Downing, Lisa Gaines, Levi Garrett, Andre Godes, Doxy Jokes, Leah Jones, Madison Jones, Michael and Stacy Jones, Mary Jo and Michael Kormashoff, Diana and Mike Magno, Lauren Murata, Sharon Morris, Amanda Pullman, Graham Pritchard, Mike Roberts, Trish Roru, Carly Sablotny, Greg and Judy Shemitz, Jordan Shoger, Ken Smith, Terrace Emoji, Susan Stone, Rick Tannenbaum, Tim Tober, Journey Tool, CJ Trevisano, Adam Tursky, Mary Vetta, Keisha Wagner, Mo Ladar.
Woo! Sometimes you have to make the font a little bit bigger, right? But this month, I think we made it smaller. That's a huge list. Congratulations, guys.
Those good eyes.
Yeah. All right, we've got a panel. So if I can have Kim, Danielle, Carly, and Felice up here. We're going to talk through winning in multiple offers and setting expectations for buyers to create strong buyers in this market. So come on up, please.
No? Oh, I'm just winging it.
Oh, look, she's got the question.
I know, I glanced over them, but I didn't make notes.
Danielle, you're first.
I'm first, okay.
Okay, real quick, everybody knows who you are, but tell everybody who you are and how long you've been licensed. Go. Kim.
Kim Pelsozi, 6 years.
Okay.
Carly Sablotny, almost 8 years. Felice Cologne, 10 years.
Danielle McCandless, 9 years.
Oh, okay. We've got some years. Yours was 6?
I'm the baby.
You're the baby. Okay, so we're talking through 2 things. Winning in multiple offers, because that's an issue. And creating expectations with buyers right now to be strong buyers in this market. And I know when I emailed all of you, I reached out to these specific gals. We looked at our top-down report and they had sold the most buyers year to date. And had a high transaction count. So thank you all for being here. And I can't wait to hear from all of you. And Carly, you were like, I can't wait to give all the things. We have like specific processes and systems and things like that. So, okay, when you're preparing, I'm gonna go to you, Danielle. Sorry.
No, you're good.
When you're preparing a buyer to enter the market, what expectations are you setting from the very start with them about what to expect?
That it is kind of crazy out there. I like to get the lender involved from the very beginning, because a lot of times they just get like their pre-approval and they're super excited and they're like, okay, I'm gonna buy a house for this much. Typically, that's not what they buy the house for, because they need to know what their monthly payment's gonna be and really setting realistic expectations, because they're like, okay, well, I want this. Okay, well, you're not gonna be able to do usually a really strong buyer. If the house has been on the market for like a day, there's gonna be like multiple people in there. You don't wanna be at the very tip top of your budget. You're not gonna have any wiggle room to like play around with it. So setting the expectation of maybe coming down a little bit and like.
Is there usually like a dollar amount? So like.
Yes,
that you
so
go,
we're
like,
setting
okay.
up basically like what the monthly payment is that they're comfortable with. Also, if there's anything different that they can do with their lender to have some wiggle room with that. Bigger down payment or any kind of programs that they have. And then just kind of working from there.
Okay. Felice, what about you? What are you saying at that first buyer consultation? Like, we're about to go out there. How are you creating a strong buyer?
Well, I do the same thing. I tell them how crazy it is, that we have to be prepared to write an offer that day. Like, if you're just gonna be window shopping, you're not gonna get your house. You have to be prepared, because you're gonna be in multiple offers. And I always tell them, just put your highest and best offer, and if it gets accepted, it gets accepted.
Are we asking, do we have any, like, to your point, Felice, do we have any questions to find their motivation to ensure that they're ready to commit to writing an offer in the next 30 days? Does anybody have that anywhere? Carly?
It's part of our buyer consultation, seller consultation too. Like, when do you need to move? Are you gonna lease? Do you have flexibility with that? Is it month to month? Are you changing jobs?
like, what is going, if they, you know, I have clients recently tell me they were expecting, they're like, we need to move within 3 months. They probably could wait a little bit longer, like, that's where they wanna be moved. So a lot of people don't know. Like, they might have to give 30 days notice on their lease, but a lot of people that are renting also don't know that, like, let's say you close on August 1st, your mortgage payment's gonna be due October 1st, and they're not factoring that in. So like, worst case scenario, if you have a little bit overlap, you're not necessarily paying two things, yeah.
Kim, what about you? What expectations are you setting up for?
Well, the same thing, and if they're, you know, if they want a move-in ready, top of the line house, yeah, we gotta move. I always start looking at houses well below what they're, because I know that we're gonna have to escalate. I love the escalation clause. I use it all the time, as long as we're in multiples. If we're not in multiples, I don't use it, but I love the escalation clause, and sometimes people have trouble understanding it. But I liken it to, if you've ever been on eBay or any auction site where you put in your max.
Say that too.
You don't get the max. You know, they're always afraid, oh, they're just gonna go to max. I'm like, no, we gotta get a copy of the other, we'll get the copy of the other contract so that you know that that offer was a real offer. And then sometimes they still have a problem, like, okay, well, I'll contact that other agent to make sure that that was a viable offer.
What if I'm a buyer? I'm sure none of us have these. What if I'm a buyer that has the wrong expectations of the market that I'm coming into, and I want to see houses that are well over or very close to the top of my price range, and I have very high expectations in that first conversation, like, or maybe it's, do you show them 4 houses and let them lose out twice? Or do you just set that expectation in the beginning? Like, how are you having those hard conversations?
Look at the MLS stats. Show 'em. Like, if they're looking in Shaker Heights, like, we all know there's certain parts of Shaker Heights that go like 100,000 up. Show them. Or I call it a coaching moment. Sometimes they have to lose a couple before they really
Yeah, some people just go
get it.
Yeah.
So sometimes we let them lose a few.
Yeah, that's what they wanna do.
Well,
They have the information. They're making that decision.
and I don't mind them losing 1 or 2. Because I don't want them ever going back and saying, what if? What if or somebody will say something that, oh, but I wanna see one of our properties, let's go see it. I don't want you to go back to me later and say, well, you know what, if we would have seen this house or would have. And so I think that goes a long way to credibility.
I would tell them too, like, what number are you comfortable losing this house at? Because if I call you tomorrow and say somebody went $2,000 over you and you say you would have done that, reconsider it.
That's why I do the escalation clause. I'm like, you don't wanna look back when it closes and say, oh, well, I'd have gone over
$2,000, right, another $1,000,
Yeah.
right?
And have like their lender break that down. What does that even look like? Cause it's not that big of a difference usually on paper.
And you're sort of having them do that like almost in increments, like this little bit, like,
Yeah.
like 2,000
I
more,
always
so you got 5,000 more.
Yeah, I always ask the lender how much per thousand the loan is.
Yes. Okay.
And I use that number a lot to help
Yeah.
them gauge, you know what, you're talking $10 more.
Yeah.
A month, you know.
Don't order pizza this month.
And you'll be fine.
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so let's pivot into writing strong offers, right? So, I didn't ask this question. In the last, since the beginning of the year, how many of you guys have been in multiples?
Oh,
Great,
yes.
yep, perfect. I was like, please everybody raise your hand. That's why you're on this panel. Okay, so I have a fun question, but I'll ask it after this one. What are some of the key ingredients of a strong offer in this market? Like those offers that you won, why did you win them? What is something specific that you're doing that sets you apart from other agents in this room or in this market?
So I always reach out to the listing agent because the highest isn't necessarily what every person is looking for. They may need 30 days after closing before they can move out, or maybe they need to wait to close because they need their kids to finish school. So, excuse me, figuring out what the sellers need, just kind of, it's nice to have a conversation, get like that relationship building and everything. And then after you find that out, go to your people and like, okay, is this a possibility? Can you stay in your lease longer or whatever they need to make it look pretty and then as clean as possible? I always try and do ask for as little as possible. I never say to not ask for things. Like I always suggest to doing like inspections and things like that, but maybe let's write in there that you're just doing an inspection to look for major defects. You're not gonna be like,
Super picky and pick it apart.
right.
Okay, somebody else, what are you doing that helps you win or stand out from other people?
I also do, with the inspections, I'll only do 3 days, cause I know people on my inspection list, I can get them in there that fast. Cause the faster you have the inspection date, the faster everything's gonna go down the road. And I can't stress enough, like what Danielle said, talking to the seller's agent. You know, I'll have so much fun just talking to the seller's agent. They're like, oh, I hope we can do business. And you know, don't take that for granted. You know, there's some agents that just won't answer the phone.
Right.
You're like,
Yeah.
damn it, I wanna, I
Yeah,
wanna know and I wanna talk, but I love working with the listing agents and we have fun and we're getting it together for our clients and I think other agents really like that too.
well, how many people have, and probably some of you on this panel, have been on the sell side? You know it's going into multiple offers and you just get like an email that has a contract. Sometimes it doesn't even have like the agent's name in it, right? Like how many people don't get a phone call? And that does matter some of the time. Also cash talks sometimes, right?
Right,
But like
right.
that does matter some of the time. So I did this panel over at Elevate and every single person said the exact same thing. Like make the call, pick up the phone, try to connect with the listing agent. After you submit the offer, maybe call the listing agent or just say, hey, just send it over. My buyers are very motivated. Please let me know if you want anything else in there, if you want to see anything else. Carly, please.
I have a lot of things. Yeah, definitely call the agent, but also ask what's important to the seller that may or may not be in the notes. I have like a 4-page document my team has. I call it the menu. We're not like throwing that at our clients, like here, do these things, but it has a whole lot of different things that you can do. I am that friend that's the FBI. So I will look up, I will find them on Facebook. What's their wedding anniversary? Can I work that number into the offer price? Or their kid's birthday? Were they, like, what can I connect with them on within reason, of course? One thing, this is something I've historically gate kept, odd numbers. I cannot stress enough, everyone does escalations in increments of 5 and 10. You come in at a 17, someone still could come higher, but or you're like, instead of 1,000, maybe do $3,000 increments. That's a big one. Saying that the buyer would only ask for X amount in repairs. Worry about how you word things. I don't have a home sale contingency. I have an experienced homeowner that's not going to be nitpicky after an inspection with a lot of equity, and we're not going to worry about an appraisal gap. So just stress like how you can best, I don't know, factor that offer into the situation. Get quicker inspection periods.
I was gonna ask
Good.
what the most like unhinged thing is that you've ever done to win, and I think it might be looking up your anniversary.
I have a story. I have another story about that though, so that's something I did. Also, if anyone can do a fully underwritten approval, big difference. Huge. I had something close in like 2 weeks. So I didn't do this, but years ago, like before the market, like when it was just starting to get really crazy, this is probably the first listing I had get like 40 something showings and 16 offers. The offer that they took the day that this hit the market and offers are coming in, the agent showed up at my house and handed me the offer.
Wow,
That was unhinged.
that's
It worked. They were like, I mean, it was by far the best offer, but the sellers were like, she did what? So that could very well go the wrong way, but that was unhinged. But yeah, no, I will find it. I will find numbers.
The one thing I was just gonna add to all of this is sometimes I will have the lender call the listing agent and tell them, look, I put this through the desktop underwriting. I checked their employment. I checked everything, you know, because sometimes, you know, a pre-approval is just a pre-approval. But if you have a backing, you know, your lender's backing you, then that usually makes a big difference.
Have you ever had to push a buyer to make uncomfortable concessions, and how did you coach them through that, right? So going back to like setting expectations, now we're at the point where we're writing offers. We're gonna wrap this up in 2 minutes because I ran over like I always do. But have you ever had to push a buyer to make uncomfortable concessions or like get them a little bit closer to writing that offer? And what did that process look like?
So, I'm sorry, like my allergy is coming here. So basically having the conversation of like, what is it gonna take, where if you lose this house, are you gonna be upset at this point? Or if you do this instead and you have a higher chance of getting the house. I mean, some of them are like, oh, I don't want it that bad. Okay, well then we'll just leave it the way it is. But you have to understand that you can't come back to me later, well, we should have done that. Cause I've had that before. I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way. Like we had this conversation, I can't call them now. They've already accepted another offer. Like, sorry.
Are we doing backup offers at all here?
Yeah.
Secondary offers, yeah.
Usually only like if the seller asks me to, like
Okay.
you
Yeah.
were so close with the other one. And we'd love we'd love to entertain your offer if this one falls through, so
Yeah.
then I'll put it in as a second
Yeah.
offer.
Okay.
Have you ever gotten your secondary offer into primary position?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
my own house included. Yeah, I tell them that all the time when I talk about it. That's how I got mine.
I always worry they're gonna use my backup offer as leverage to push it.
Oh, yeah. We have
Just
probably
saying,
like
look,
3 or 4
don't-
years.
Don't ask for anything or else I'm going with my backup offer and then.
I do that as a listen. Somebody asked for 15 grand last month and I was like, oh, we'll release it.
So as representing buyers and talking to listing agents, Rick, close your ears. We can't do love letters, right? We know that we're not allowed to do those, but are you trying to stress some of those motivations and eagerness to the listing agents in an ethical and legal way?
Well, if I say something to them, that's their fault if they disclose to the
Okay.
seller, right?
I don't know, another burger. Well, I would say in the conversation, like, before you hand them the offer,
Yeah.
when I'm talking to the agent,
Okay,
I'll
change your plan.
be like, oh my gosh, I love the backyard, it's
Right.
perfect for their dog, or
Yeah.
like little things like that, but that's not like. Yeah, not like how like the love letters were, but yeah, you're just having a conversation.
Yeah,
really.
I'll say something to the listing agent, like, well, I submitted my offer to you, but let me know if I should make any changes because there are 3 kids, oh my God, you know, they're already picking bedrooms.
Okay.
Yeah.
They don't answer the phone, to Kim's point. What are you doing in an email to stand out, or are you texting, are you blowing them up? What are you doing if they're not picking up the phone, you don't get a conversation with them?
Texting.
I'm texting, yeah.
Text. I've sent a video a couple times.
Oh, that's a good
The
one.
video of what?
Me talking.
Of you talking?
Yeah, or like a voice memo.
Oh, the boy, yeah. voice
Voice
memo.
memo, like I'm a high D, right? So my texts are like, I gotta work to make them. Yeah, like emojis, yeah. Like I'm not a big emoji exclamation point for, like, if you see me doing that, I'm probably trying to do it, but yeah, I could do that in a voice memo. And especially if it's someone you know, like I call them like, oh my God, Kim, my buyer's obsessed. We are writing an offer, I'm gonna have it to you, like, I don't know, it's a different.
Yeah, that's a
It's
good
a
idea.
different.
Yeah.
It's a, yeah.
More
it is.
personal.
Yeah, I
That's
want personal.
more personal.
Cause I've
As-
gotten a couple when I was a high school substitute, so those kids have gone through college and graduated, and they're like, Miss B, help me find a house, you know, and when I'm talking to the seller's agent, I'm like, oh, he was a past student of mine. And so I'm continuing to teach them and work through the system, and they've been like, oh my God, I love that, and yeah.
I once had on the list side, I had a buyer, it was kind of a love letter, but they wrote it from the viewpoint of their dog. So 0 fair housing violation.
0 fair housing.
0. It was like, I get zoomies after dinner a lot and I really need a backyard to run around. That's cute. I mean, my seller was a dog mom, so like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, if you did that to me, it would probably work.
Ah. Like from the viewpoint of like your stove, if you don't have a dog, like my stove really loved that kitchen. Like, work around the love letter a little bit, right? Okay, we're up on time. One piece of advice for everybody writing offers or working with buyers and working with frustrated buyers and getting a little bit frustrated with this funny market, as an agent said this morning. One piece of advice. Anybody?
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm a huge believer in everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And I just explained to them, even if they've tried their hardest and they're really upset, if they missed out on a house or something, that wasn't their house.
Wasn't meant to be.
Something always, yeah, something, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I didn't get that one.
I always tell them, when you when you're in multiples, I go, and they go, well, what's the highest and best? I go, if it goes for $1 more, you ain't mad.
Yeah.
You ain't mad if it goes for 101.
Yeah.
Because you wasn't gonna pay that anyway.
Right.
And then they go, okay, you know.
Like their action.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, nothing worth it is ever easy, right? So they have to keep going, and so do we. We have to like remember from their mindset how, like, I don't know, but I'll be stressing out every night cooking dinner, like, I got 3 people waiting on answers and I know how they're feeling, but it, just don't forget that.
Yeah.
And also, I think, don't forget the value in relationships with other agents, because sometimes that wins too. Like, if they know that they've done a deal with you in the past, or a team that you're on, and it's gonna get to the closing table, that does matter, especially now when a huge percentage of them are falling apart. So be nice. I know everybody here's nice. Not everybody outside of these walls is nice. Cool.
Nice on the other side too.
Anything else?
Yeah, I just think working with your buyer, they just have to, you gotta lose a couple times, you walk through it with them, you're their therapist. You
Yeah.
know, and I, you know, I'll say, well, this is what we thought, and this is, do you understand how this is coming together? And then they eventually,
Yeah, they get there. Yeah. Cool. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate it. All right, pivoting into lunch now. So if you guys want to hang out, please do. We've got pizza. And, sorry.
something in.
Oh, we're gonna have something? So. All
Oh,
right.
Oh, the broker, should we let him talk?
Why is there like 30 pages? Wrap it up.
Alright. Sorry, guys, I'll be quick. You guys all got an email from me a couple weeks ago, with our company policy on agency. Hopefully you guys have all signed it. We got a lot of them back, but we did not get all of them back. Your flashlight's on, by the way. I asked.